Hi. Now we were at looking at this lattice energy, right? The factors on which lattice energy depends. We were at the charge on the ions, right? We were discussing that higher the charge on the ions, more is the force of attraction, right, between the ions while the formation of an ionic compound. So higher is the force, more energy would be released, that is the lattice energy would be high, because energy released is your lattice energy, so more stable is the ionic compound, right. So now let's again look into the factors that favor the lattice energy, right, or the factors on which the lattice energy depends. Like, let me just quickly rub this. This is important because you may get some questions on this, right? And this formation of ionic bonding, we have done this in previous classes also. So just look at it more with respect to lattice energy, right? Because lattice energy is something new, right? In class 11th chemical bonding. So here, lattice energy is energy released when an ionic compound is formed. When an ionic compound is formed, right, from positive and negative ions, right, there is high force of attraction. Now understand just one thing, that ionic compound is formed because force of attraction between positive and negative ions is high. Due to the high electrostatic force of attraction, these ions attract each other, result into the formation of ionic bond. So the factors responsible for the high force of attraction will favor the ionic bond formation, right. And one more thing we have seen, that due to this high force of attraction, when ionic compound is formed, energy is released. We call this energy as lattice energy, right. So higher is the force of attraction, higher is the energy released, right. Higher is the force of attraction between ions, right, between ions. Higher is the force of attraction between ions, higher is the energy released. Higher is the energy released. So which is your lattice energy, right. This released energy during the formation of ionic compound is nothing but the lattice energy, right. Why we call it lattice energy? Because this ionic compound, right, the structure of this ionic compound is a lattice, right. The ions, positive and negative ions, are arranged in the lattice, right. That is why we call it the lattice energy. During the formation of the lattice of magnesium bromide, energy is released, called as lattice energy. So let's look at the factors on which this lattice energy or the force of attraction between the ions depends. We know that we have positive and negative ions, right. So the force of attraction between positive and negative ions is as per the Coulomb's law, right. This is the Coulomb's law, we have done this in physics. So higher is the product of charges, right. This force is directly proportional to the product of charges, right. So higher is the product of charges between these ions, right. Charges are due to these ions, so higher is the product of charges, higher would be the force of attraction, right. So higher is the force of attraction and higher is the lattice energy, right, because we know that lattice energy is again directly proportional to force, right. So factors that increases the force will increases the lattice energy. Increasing the lattice energy means more energy would be released. More energy would be released means more stable is your ionic compound, right. So more lattice energy, right, which is released, more the lattice energy, stable is your Stable is your ionic compound, right? And what about this R? R represents the distance between the ions. If you look at this lattice, right, it may be like this. If you know about sodium chloride, it has sodium and chloride ions at different points in the lattice and at the faces, right? And each sodium ion is surrounded by negative ions, right? Negative chloride ions, and each negative chloride ion is surrounded by positive ions, right? So at each of these lattice points we have positive and negative ions, right? So there is the distance between, actually these ions are very close to one another, right? So this is the distance between the ions, right? This is the distance between the ions. So the force depends on this distance. Lesser is the distance, right? Lesser is this distance, higher is the force, right? So higher is the force means higher is the lattice energy, and stable is your ionic compound, right? So when is your R or the inter-ionic distance less? Inter-ionic distance would be less in case of small ions, right? If the size of the ions is small, right, since this force is inversely proportional to R square, right, and this R is your inter-ionic distance, right, and it depends on the size of ions, right? So smaller the size of the ions, higher the force of attraction between the ions. So higher force of attraction means you have stable ionic compound, right? So this force of attraction would be higher in case of compounds that consist of small ions, right? So we write that small ions have high lattice energy due to high force, right? From this relation we get to know smaller is the ion, higher is the force of attraction due to high force between ions, right? So product of charges, let's look at this: magnesium oxide, right, and sodium chloride. Which will have high force of attraction, or which of these two compounds has high lattice energy, right? Then let's look at from this point, from this perspective. Magnesium has, in this, let's take example of magnesium bromide only, right? Magnesium bromide, MgBr2, and this is your sodium chloride. We know that magnesium has +2 charge, chlorine has -1 charge, but we have bromide ion has -1 charge. Total we have 2 bromide ions, so -2 charge, right? So product of charges would be, just the product of magnitude would be 4, right, for magnesium bromide. Now for sodium chloride, sodium has +1 charge, chloride has -1 charge, so therefore Q1, Q2 would be 1, right? So product of charges is higher in case of magnesium bromide, right? So the force of attraction would be higher for magnesium bromide. High force of attraction means high lattice energy, right? More energy would be released, so more stable would be your compound, right? Now in case of sodium chloride, product of charges is less, right, compared to magnesium bromide, right? So force of attraction would be less, right, and lattice energy would be less compared to magnesium bromide. So less stable is sodium chloride compared to magnesium bromide, right? Or what we also say that it is more ionic, right? Magnesium bromide is more ionic, and it is solid, it is hard solid, and all the properties of electrovalent compounds like melting point, solubility and all will be more pronounced, right, in magnesium bromide. that is melting point for magnesium bromide would be higher than sodium chloride, right? Because force of attraction is high in case of magnesium bromide, so you need to give it more energy, right, for magnesium bromide to melt, right? So we say that magnesium bromide is hard solid compared to sodium chloride, right, because of this high force of attraction and high lattice energy. Now the distance, right? Now let's look at the distance between the ion, the size of the ions, I'm sorry, which is your interionic distance, right? We say that sodium chloride, the lattice enthalpy or the lattice energy for sodium chloride, lattice energy for, let's just write this, say that lattice energy for sodium chloride, right, is greater than sodium bromide, right? Lattice energy for sodium chloride is higher than lattice energy for sodium chloride is higher than the lattice energy for sodium bromide. Why? What could be the reason? If you look at this relation, that means this relates to the size of the ions, right? Higher is the size of the, bigger is the ion, lesser is the force of attraction. So if we say bigger is the ion, lesser is the force of attraction, that means lesser force of attraction means less energy would be released. This released energy is your lattice energy. So less force of attraction means less lattice energy, right? So here you have less lattice energy in case of, we say that lattice energy of sodium bromide is less than sodium chloride. Why? Because the size of bromide ion, is greater than the size of chloride ion, right? This ion, bromide ion, is bigger than chloride ion, right? So bigger ion means less force means less energy released, that is less lattice energy. That is why sodium bromide has less lattice energy than sodium chloride. Sodium chloride, in case of sodium chloride, the size of chloride ion is less than the bromide ion. So less R, the value of R is less for chloride ion, that means it has high force of attraction. High force of attraction is high energy released, higher is your lattice energy, right? So here one more thing you need to just look at, that this factor is more pronounced, this factor is more important, because Q1 Q2 is the product of charges, right? And highly charged ions are rarely found, right? Highly charged ions, I'm saying, is rarely found. What it means is that aluminium, let's just understand how the ions get formed. I'll just drop this. We know that from periodic table that second ionization enthalpy is higher compared to first ionization enthalpy, right? Why is that? That means higher, in the previous video lecture, when we understood the formation of ionic, when we understood the electrovalent bonding, we said that the factors that favors ionic bond is one of the factor is ionization energy. So lesser is the ionization energy, the more easily ionic compound will get formed. Less ionization energy means more easily the atom can lose its outermost loosely bonded electron, right? Outermost electron is loosely bonded, so it can easily lose it if the ionization energy is less. So that you have to provide less energy for it to lose its outermost electron. Now we say that in order to form the divalent ion, that means the ion that has +2 charge, right, you need to provide more energy, right? So, and more energy, further more energy would be provided in case you want to form trivalent ion, the ion that has +3 charge, right? In order, and +3 charge will get formed when that atom will lose 3 electrons, and to lose 3 electrons we need to provide a very high amount of energy, and that high amount of energy is usually not present in chemical reactions, right? Or that high amount of energy is not available in chemical reactions. That is why it is difficult to form divalent or trivalent ions. Trivalent ions are rarer, right? Divalent ions are rare, trivalent ions are rarer. This is what we see, right? Now let's see why it is difficult to form a divalent or a trivalent ion, right? So divalent and trivalent ions are difficult to get formed, right? Now let's see the formation of a monovalent ion, right? Let's take the case of any, say, magnesium. Magnesium will lose an electron, it will form magnesium plus 1, right? Now you still have magnesium. If you remember, magnesium has 2 electrons in its outermost shell, right? So when it will lose 1 electron, right, minus 1 electron, it will form Mg plus, right? Because now it is deficient of 1 electron, right? So it has an overall positive charge, right? That means high nuclear charge, right? Now this one has high nuclear charge, right? So on this magnesium ion, it has more positive charge compared to negative charge, right? That's why it is positive. So more positive charge means nuclear charge has increased, higher nuclear charge. Positive charge is due to protons that is present in the nucleus. So more positive charge means higher nuclear charge. Now this ion has higher nuclear charge, right? Higher nuclear charge will have it will exert higher force of attraction on the rest of the electrons, right? So higher force of attraction means you have to provide more energy, right, for this univalent magnesium ion to form divalent magnesium ion, right? So when it will lose, now suppose it has 2 electrons, now this has only 1 electron, but there is a charge of plus 1, right? Which means if this is the charge, this is the nucleus, and this is the outermost, this 1 electron. Now it has this nucleus. The nucleus is positive due to protons. When 1 electron was released to form this univalent ion, this has the nuclear charge. Nuclear charge is increased, right? Due to this increased nuclear charge, now the force of attraction on this electron, right, is higher, right? So now it is more difficult to remove this electron, this second electron, from this univalent magnesium ion, right? So more energy needs to be given, right? More energy needs to be given to this second electron in order to remove it from this outer shell, right? So more energy is needed. That is why it is difficult to form divalent cations compared to univalent cations, right? Or what we say is that second ionization enthalpy, second ionization energy, we say that second ionization enthalpy is greater than first ionization enthalpy. This is what we say, right? Now the reason is clear. Why? Due to high nuclear charge on univalent cation, right? on univalent cation. So due to this high nuclear charge, it is difficult. Due to this high nuclear charge, now it is difficult to form the divalent cation. Similarly, if you want to form trivalent cation in case of aluminium, it would be more difficult to form the trivalent cation, right? Similarly, if we say that higher charge cations are rarer, right? They are rarer. Similarly, if we talk about negative ions, electron affinity, we know that we discussed earlier that if let's talk about oxide ion, right? Oxide has oxygen will gain one electron, right, to form O minus, right? What we are looking at is that higher charge anions are also rarer, right? So if you want to add another electron, right, since this is a non-metal, so it will gain electron, it will form this univalent anion, right? This is a univalent anion, right? So if you want to make a divalent anion O minus 2, now let's see this, that now this ion has become negative, right? This has an overall negative charge. This has an overall negative charge. So when you form this divalent cation, when you try to form divalent oxide ion, which is this, you need to add one more electron to it, right? So when you add this electron to this oxide ion, there is repulsion between negative oxide ion and electron, right? Because we know that similarly charged ions will have repulsive force, right? They will repel one another, right? So in order to add this electron, you need to provide energy, right? You need to provide energy to it, right? So since you need to provide energy in order to add second electron to the negative ion, right? That is why these highly charged anions are also rarer, right? So in order to form this O2 minus, you need to provide energy, right? You need to provide energy to this oxide ion, right? To this univalent oxide ion, because we know that in normal scenario, what we know is that when electron is added to a non-metal, energy is released, right? But here what we see, when you need to remove, when you are adding the second electron to this negative ion, instead of releasing energy, you need to provide energy. Why? Because there is force of repulsion between this electron and this negative ion, right? So due to this force of repulsion, you have to provide energy to this system, right? That is why we say that higher charge anions and cations are rarer, right? So that is why this factor is more significant than this factor, because Q1, Q2, or what we say is that highly charged anions and cations are rarely found, right? There is one exception to it that you may find in your books. Exception is of aluminium chloride. This is in dry state. This is a covalent. In dry state, this is a covalent solid, right? But when this is added to water, this will act as an ionic solid, which have trivalent aluminium ion. So here trivalent aluminium ion you see is easily formed. How? Because one thing you might be aware of, that when an ionic compound is added to water, these aluminium ions, right, these aluminium ions would be surrounded by water molecules like this, right, negative end of water molecules, and this is known as hydration of ions, right? This is hydration of aluminium ion. hydration of aluminium ions will release energy, right? So in this case, energy released, right, would be used to form this trivalent ion, or the energy released due to this hydration would be enough to form this trivalent ion. So that is why this is an exception, right? So I hope all this is clear to you, right? So you just need to remember this formula, right? And if you remember just this Coulomb's law, right, you can easily see that when an ionic compound is formed from a positive ion and a negative ion, right, there is a force of attraction, right? So whatever favors this force of attraction, right, will favor the lattice energy, because when due to this force of attraction this ionic compound is formed, energy is released, right? So more the energy is released, more stable this compound is, right? So that force between these ions and distance or the size of the ions is governed by this Coulomb's law, right? So higher is the product of the charges, more is the force, higher is the lattice energy, smaller is the size of the ions, right? Because these two are inversely related. Smaller is the size of the ions, higher is the force. Higher force means higher lattice energy, right? And this is more significant. Size of the ions is more important here. Why? Because highly charged ions are difficult to found, or they are rarely found. Why? Because second ionization enthalpy is higher compared to first ionization enthalpy, and second electron affinity is again you have to give energy to it, right, due to this force of repulsion. So this highly charged anions are also difficult to found, right? So I hope all this is clear to you. Thanks.